Talk to people in Australia's largest city who've just visited a supermarket or filled up at a petrol station, and you'll hear a common message.
Prices are definitely going up.
It seems to be every other item that you pick up, there's definitely been a surge in the cost.
Consumer prices are rising, reflected through the country's Consumer Price Index, which has recorded the largest annual increase in inflation in nearly 2 decades, around 5%.
There's some international influences on inflation, the GFC, the global food crisis, the impact of the Russian-Ukraine war, and also now in China with some of the lockdowns affecting global supply chains.
Despite the economic impact of the average person here, economists will tell you that Australia as a whole is doing better now than it did the last time it faced high inflation, and certainly better than a lot of developed nations. One reason is that Australia exports more energy and food than it imports, and the price of its energy exports have been soaring, and unemployment here is low, around 4%. But the current rate of inflation is much higher than the Reserve Bank of Australia's target of 2 to 3%. The one tool at its disposal to counter rising inflation is to raise the nation's interest rate. And that's exactly what the RBA did this week, raising the interest rate by 25 basis points to 0.35%, much sooner than it had flagged last year. And it signaled there will be more rate hikes to come.
They'd be watching the new figures in the United States and Europe and elsewhere. They'd be worried about a global recession, so they're not going to want to jack up rates too much.
Even the slight rise to the cash rate will increase costs to homeowners with mortgages. And while Australia's economy overall remains in relatively good shape, that's little comfort to people.
It's deeply affecting everybody, and it's not something that anybody wants.
Who are forced to pay more for their essential goods. Greg Navarro, CGTN, Sydney.